happy Valentine's Day to those of you who celebrate that or have to celebrate that. This is T-Mac for T-Mac's American Experience. I wanted to do a Q&A to get you guys updated on some stuff. I need your opinion on things, on some stuff that we have, and hoping that I got some hikes that we just did to talk about, and some future ones here coming up to discuss too. So right off the bat, we'll get to some of the. Hello, Eric. Hello, Chrissy. Hello, Sue. Hello, Nancy. I know John's watching in there too. Dan. Hey, Dan, brother, Pastor Dan there. Thank you guys for joining me. I know this is a little bit later than what I usually do them. I don't know if you can drop in the comments if you're like, hey man, this is a little too late for me, or this is better than doing it. I'm open for that. Too, I kind of just pushed it to a little later. Daughter's in swimmings and I wanted to go watch her. So I ended up pushing this a little later. Hey, Jack Rapids here. So, so we got a lot going on. I have the video coming out tomorrow, which I finally got. I've been talking about him for a while, that he's going to be on more videos. And I finally got John out there with me, and wouldn't have been able to do the investigation without him. Hey, Heather, how's it going? Thank you guys for joining me. I greatly appreciate you being here. But what I got to ask you guys about what to do with. Good Nato, hey. Thanks for joining. So I did something different at this property that I've done a few hikes on in some of the wooded areas in the past. They have this old abandoned house on there that's sitting abandoned because the owner doesn't want to go in there. They say it's haunted and everything or whatever. So this old abandoned house on top of the hill, the hill's really significant for my area. It's the highest point in Ashtabula County where this hill is. So it's actually very significant, has a very cool backstory and history to the property, which, you know, that's one of the things I absolutely love. And I think there's a lot of like some unexplained, some other mysteries of that property. I think there's a lot more that happened there than what we have recorded, because it is definitely an area that you wouldn't be able to miss because of its elevation. Throughout history, it would be somewhere significant. So so we go in to do the house, this house. I go in and check it out in the daytime because the property owner said he had kicked a vagrant out of there in the past, but it was over a year ago. But he says, before you go in there at night, make sure there's nobody in there. So I go in through the day, in the daytime, with the gun drawn, and do kind of like room clearing. Now I had the camera going, so it wasn't quite how I learned how to do that in the Air Force, but still did kind of a sweep and clear of some of the areas. But there were some of the areas I'm not sticking my head up to look on some of these areas, and then come back at nighttime and bring John with me, which thank God he was there. It was a big help for that. But we go to set the recorder in this room. Now this sucker, when I get it to work, it's phenomenal. My problem is this technology keeps kicking the crap out of me. We set this up to listen for nighttime and then go out and do our exploring and come back and grab this. Somehow I double tapped the button and it put it on pause, and I didn't get it. So when I got home and realized I had no audio, I drove back out there the next day stuck this in the house in the same spot, and then took off, and I drove to the opposite side of the county because I'm trying to get a lot of the places that I'm doing hikes now. Everybody wants, it's permission to be able to do the hikes at nighttime around here. So I went to go talk to another person that was 25 minutes away on the other side of the county to try to get permission to video on their land at night. And after chit-chatting with that guy for a little bit, I drove back, picked this up after an hour and 20 minutes, and then I loaded up to listen to it, and I'm amazed at what this thing can pick up. And but I listened through that. Then I listened to my video to hear what footsteps sound like that. And I'm telling you what, this thing has, it's an hour and 20 minutes long of a blank screen, so you're just listening to sound. But I caught breathing in there. Something's breathing near this. It's picking up the breath, and you can hear footsteps. Something is walking all over this house. Now, when me and John go through there was one area we did not stick our heads up into this attic because it was this rickety old ladder to get up there. I tried to stick the camera up there, but I couldn't get that up. It was too high, and so there's one area we didn't actually clear. So I can't sit there and say there's nobody in that house, although I will say there's no heat in that house. And we were there. It was at the time we finished our hike, it was 19 degrees. Yeah, the top of the main stairs. Lima Walker, that's John. Okay. So I listened to that. So I'm like, well, I don't know what I should do with this recording, because I know everybody who watches this is going to want to know, what did the recorder pick up? And I'm not sure how I can incorporate that for you guys to check that out and hear for yourself. One of the things I don't like to do with my videos is I don't like to draw the conclusion for you. I like you guys to be able to come up with the conclusion. I present you the evidence, and you guys are able to look through it and make up your own mind. So I'm not sure. I wanted to get your guys' input. What should I do with this audio? I already have it loaded onto YouTube. I just haven't put it to where everyone can see it, because it's just sound. It's the sound. And if you listen, you can hear me come in and set the thing down. You can hear me leave. It's so good. My car is got to be, what, 30, 35 yards away from the house, and you can hear me start my engine. And the next neighbor over is at least 200 yards, and you can hear their dog barking. The thing is phenomenal at picking up sound. It's just, I just got to get over the operator error part of it. So, but then you can hear clearly somebody walking around in there. And yeah, that's what I'm wondering, Nancy. I don't like, should I give you guys, I mean, do you guys want, I don't like to waste your time either. Because it's and if I attached it to the end of the video, well, then the video would show as like 2 hours and something long. So now the night we were out there investigating, very cold. There was snow on the ground, but it was so cold everything was ice, turned to ice. We had a treacherous walk anywhere we went outside, and unfortunately, you can hear our steps are obnoxiously loud, and so we didn't do more outside investigating that I would love to have done, because it was just obnoxiously loud. And I'm like, I just instantly am thinking, I'm like, wow, I'm gonna put this up and it's gonna annoy the heck out of people. But I did put where we went in up and checked out this hill, and I got the climb up and the climb down it, which it's a big hill, and again, for Ashtabula County, it's the biggest. But when you look at it, you think it's, gosh, I thought it was more of a gradual walk up it, and it was a trek up this hill, a lot more than what I thought. And I was even saying that on camera. It looks like so where's Jack? I imagine he's probably at his house, which I do got an update for that too. So, well, okay, I got chronic sinus problems, so I always, like I say, I'm a little extra stuffy right now, but I'm not sick, but just a little extra stuffy. So, and that's why I was wondering, should I put the sound up just for everyone if you want to listen to it? It's one thing though, when you when you watch the video, you listen to what our footsteps. So, yeah, that's what I say. We thought we were done climbing, and we're like, oh, we're halfway up the hill. So, the house, though, we went through and we go through and look through this, and it was more sad than anything because the last owner of the house pretty much died there, and you know, all of his stuff, his medication bottles are in there, and I didn't realize they were all his stuff. And the guy died in 2008, and the house has been sitting empty since then. You can see some of the stuff where the guy who owns it, yeah, entire room of books, entire room filled with all these books. This guy had all of his stuff that he accumulated his whole life, and he died. And you know, some of his family inherited his house, and before they could do anything with it, they pretty much were scared off. So, and that's why everything is sitting in there like that, just kind of rotting, because when the family went in there, I talked to the guy's a police officer. Hey, Steve, thanks for joining. When a police officer, so this is not a wimp, but he's there. He has a son. And if you go back into my videos, the first time I did one on Owen Hill, I got the owner and his son were in the video, but they are, and the guy's wife, they're afraid. They do not want to go in there. And as far as that goes, cleansing it, whatever was in there, I honestly think it vacated while me and John were in there, because we went in there, and you know, we look around and check things out. When I was in there in the daytime, something up in that attic thumped the ceiling, and you'll hear that on the video. That was about for while I was in the house. And even like when I went back the next day to put the recording in there, while I'm in there, nothing happens. I set the recording down. You can hear me leave. After I leave, there's a few minutes, all of a sudden you start hearing some walking around, some scuffling, all these little noises. And but what I was really concerned with is, especially after I played the video and heard what our footsteps sounded like on that floor. And it's like, well, there's no mistake, and those are footsteps, but nobody's are there. Yeah. Well, yeah, there's definitely signs. There's a lot of rodents. A lot of squirrels have been in there. But these were footsteps. You can hear the footsteps. And again, it was a cold day. It's been cold. It is really cold tonight. We're not getting much of breaks of the weather. The way it's happening is it's warming up a little bit, raining, and then freezing up, and then snowing on top of it. Just yeah, the trail cam would do good in there. The night I was going to go in, I had a camera that I was going to set up stationary, and left it in the car. So I'm like, shoot! I even mentioned that. I'm like, I left the camera in the car, so we're just going to go with the audio. But so I'll have to go stick the camera in there for a while too. my concern is just like, gosh, if there's a person in there, I'm gonna stick my camera in there and I'm gonna come back to no camera. So that's my concern, because I don't know how other way of really explaining footsteps, and you can hear some breaths in there. So and that barefoot, and it's like if you walked barefoot on that floor, you'll see in this video, if you walked barefoot in that floor, you'd be ouching. You'd be hurting pretty bad. So I can't imagine that someone would walk in there without shoes on, especially as cold as it is too. And that house is like, it's not much warmer. I had the thermal going during that. We did, and that's interesting. It's interesting that, maybe because the property owner says he believes there's Bigfoot he says they transit his property. Like not there every single day, but they're coming back and forth across this property. And one of the things I think during certain times of the year, there's an old apple orchard on one side of that hill. And I think those things come over when the apples are there. But he's caught some obnoxiously large coyotes, and he says they're very, very aggressive on that property. And we found some of the coyote tracks. We were up there too. So, and then, yeah, and that's the apples. So, yeah, you'd need a tetanus shot from walking in that barefoot in that house. You almost think like that. We're walking through that house. Almost felt like we needed a tetanus shot just from walking in there. And yeah, John goes, it smells like, mold and mildew and piss. I mean, it's kind of it's not a pleasant place to sit around. It's not a pleasant place to be sitting around and kicking it in there. And you'll see on the video, because, I thought maybe, well, depend on what this looks like there. We might pull up a chair and sit down in there. And, I looked at that and went, I'm not, I'm not sitting down in this place. This is not good. So again, that's the audio is, so I'll have main video, I'll have the thermal video of it, which I caught some thermal in the house. I caught some unexplained thermal hits, and John was able to help with some of that too, because he found this big stick and he's literally like jabbing the hot spot there, trying to see if it's maybe something inside the wall that I was picking up, and it didn't move. It just was showing a hot spot where there shouldn't have been one. Because there's no heat, there's no electricity in there. All of the copper has been scavenged out by thieves. So, yeah, there's like literally no reason for a hot spot to be there, yet I had a hot spot. And I know MT always said it's more the cold spots that you get concerned with when you're looking in that aspect. So, and the way I've trained myself with that thermal is I look for heat. So that's one of the things. I got to put this thermal video up looking in that house. I didn't, when I was going through there with it, I was looking for heat, because that's what that's how I've operated with that. And yeah, this is more MT's line of work. I'd love to have MT go in there and do his thing with it, if he could. But he's been doing a hectic work schedule, so on top of having kids, so he hasn't been able to get out to do his stuff a lot. I miss him definitely, like our. But this is another thing too. Okay, so I had the videos out with Jack, where we had the ones where the police were called for people saying there was a Bigfoot. And that was the 5th call in 10 months. Last night, there was another call for someone getting screamed at in those same woods. and the sheriffs and the highway patrol both responded to this. And Jack and he grabbed his friend Bob. They went out there, and evidently they got to talk to the police, and I'll let Jack go over that more. But that same area, because Jack was wanting to go there and look around tonight, and I'm like, weather is not going to be good. We're gonna try to catch it. We're gonna look for a break in the weather when we can get it, and go back down there, because the things are obvious. And I say things, there's multiple things there. They're obviously there, and they're very active. And everything that was in these police reports, we've had happen to us there. We don't call the police because, well, that's literally why we're there. You know, it wouldn't leave for us to call the police. You know, we're out there looking for that stuff, and when you find it, you don't get surprised when you find what you're looking for. So, so we still have that. That's coming up in the future. Okay, Jack put out his video on Helltown. I was there with them. I got my video be coming up probably Tuesday. So, because I hearing you guys in the chat, I'll put the audio out for those of you interested. And I guess if it gets 2 or 3 views, okay. You know, I know it's people who really want to listen to it. So, and then I'll put the thermal video out of this, and I will then Tuesday I'll put out Helltown, and it was literally this. You know, I'm always the one cracking the jokes in the group. With you know, I said that to cameraman. I said, looks like Helltown froze over. Everything was this massive sheet of ice. And then Jack wants to talk about this on his Q&A, so I'm just going to mention it just a little bit. But when we had to walk out to this place where you can get to where you can go into video, is about a 2.5 mile hike down an old deserted road with a very, very steep hill. And we went to walk up that, and it was a solid sheet of ice the entire way. We thought maybe, we were like, oh, it must be the water runoff, the hill will be clear. No, the hill was a sheet of ice, and it was this treacherous climb up there. And after we had spent all this time nearly breaking our necks there, going through these different spots, getting the videos, as you hear from, if any of you guys watched Jack's video, we ran into coyotes, some weird sounding, some owls, and then almost what sounded like monkeys, which goes along with some of the stuff I've been saying is around that area. Because Helltown's not terribly far away from these other spots that we go to. All these areas are within a half hour of each other, and pretty much all along the same river system. So, we go to walk back, and I'm literally dreading this because uphill was very hard with the ice, but downhill was downright dangerous. Where you think downhill would be the easier part. And we're going to walk, and we start walking, and we're walking in the center of the road, and we're starting to go down the hill, and it's nice and dry. And we're walking. Jack doesn't really even notice. And I said to Jack, I said, hey, do you notice something odd? And he says, no, what? I said, there's no ice on the road at all. The road's dry. And he's kind of like pauses, and he's like, wait a minute. Didn't we almost like kill ourselves climbing up this hill? I said, yeah. I said, I was literally like not looking forward to going down this. And because, we double time it when we're hiking in like that. 2.5 mile hike on that old road. That'll usually take us 15 minutes maybe. But it took us over an hour because it was so icy. So we're walking back. We get down to the bottom of the hill. And he's like, well, there's got to be ice up ahead. There was at no point on this road at all. There was no ice anywhere. And we had and everywhere else there was covered in ice. You watch the videos, everything is covered in ice. I mean, just totally. You see our pathways are covered in this thick ice, and it was treacherous to be on the path. Then we tried to step off into, and where you see leaves and everything, and that was almost just as treacherous as the pathway. And I'm baffled. All the ice was gone, and we had probably the smoothest walk that I've had all winter long anywhere. And I got no explanation for it whatsoever. And unfortunately, I don't have video of that either, because this was the hike in, and we don't video for that, because part of the reason is for that is this Helltown area is a big area. We have limited battery life for our flashlights, for our cameras, and if we video on some of these spots where we're going to have probably next to nothing happen, we're going to be out of battery life by the time we get to the good places. So, but I think Jack did catch some of, when he was doing a short, he caught some of the ice on that part of the road, because he was recording one of the shorts he recorded and he already put up. He was walking on that ice, and I'm like, Jack, you are going to break your neck. It was that dangerous of a walk in. He right when he ended his short, he about fell. And it was so bad, I thought, we're not going to be able to video back here, but we managed to do it and do it safely. Neither one of us fell, but we had to tag team and help each other to not fall. But there's some great audio on that one that we caught too. But I am just, I have to say, because I was dreading this, I was like, I want to leave, but I don't want to walk back this way. And there's only one way to try and get around, to loop around and get back to where our car is a 12-mile hike. And I know because I did this hike with Jack and MT in the summertime. And the place that this was, it wrecked my camera. I had no video. I had no thermal video. I had nothing. It fried the one camera completely. It doesn't work at all. And the thermal video, it for some reason didn't record. It's this creepy place, and it was, all our flashlights kept losing their, power and everything. So, and then at this night here in Helltown here, my thermal camera, not sure what the heck's going on, but all of a sudden I fully charged it. The battery went dead after like half hour, 40 minutes, which is very strange for it. But I've had that happen a couple times where it's like, it doesn't happen every time. There's sometimes I'll get that to record for 3 hours straight. And other times the battery will die after 40 minutes. And I don't know, I think it might be the area that I'm in and what's going on around it. If something's like zapping the power from it. And it seems like what I've had happen with that thermal camera, it seems like that gets attacked. It's ripped. It's been like when I was in Tinker's Hollow, the thermal camera, I have it bolted onto my camera mount. Twice in Tinker's Hollow, it was ripped off its mount and flung at me. It goes after, and the one time it wouldn't work. I had to go back and do a little maintenance on it and get it to work again. That camera, for some reason, especially in areas of a lot of activity, it seems like that thermal camera gets attacked. So, again, I'm drawing a conclusion there that I think something's going after that, because I think it can see. And they say, how is it doing it? I don't know. I don't understand it. So those are some of the things going on. I also finally got to an area that I'd put out in December in the daytime, asking you guys if you wanted to see that at night. And the weather has wreaked havoc on doing videos here. So every video we've done is it's been 10 times harder to do this winter than what it was like in the fall or the summer or spring, or even what I did with them last winter. This has been way more difficult, way more challenging. So a lot more effort than what it was to do with these videos. I got out there to that place, and then unfortunately, man, I still got some. I got more. I back to having rocks thrown at me. I will say that. Same thing in Helltown too. Helltown, we had rocks thrown at us in that video. So, so they're done throwing sticks. They're back to throwing rocks. So, but so I have that coming up, and there's places I'm trying to get some decent weather in the daytime to go out and check some of the areas before I go at night. What's happening around me here in Ashtabula County, and I don't think this is a coincidence. Every place wants permission to be in there at hours of darkness, whereas I go one county over to Lake County, and I can stay in there till 11 o'clock at night. I go down south to Trumbull County. I can stay in their parks until 11 o'clock at night. I go anywhere else. I checked for, all these same types of areas, and they're all open into hours of darkness, and Ashtabula County's is not. Their entire county, they literally want anyone in there at night to have permission. So I'm having to fill out applications and requests, and then it's like they get reviewed, and we'll see whether still not guarantee I'll have permission. So it's making it harder to do some of my local hikes. But I am one of the things I am going to get into here. I got some of the stuff. I'll just show you one of the ones I have out here. Okay. One of my favorite areas to go, my home area, literally at the end of my street, where I was videoing the deer, testing out, where I go and test out equipment, and I'll just say it was the area where where the last hike was, where I was having sticks thrown at me and other creepy stuff. Caught all the stuff following me on the ridgeline. That's in my neighborhood. There's the old dam there, and I knew they had the plans to tear it down, but they were looking for the funds. Well, I got to talk to the game warden for the county, and it told me that they have the funding available. It's just going to be like coming up here. They're waiting for weather to do it, and they're going to tear down that old dam. So I want to try to get especially into that dam. I got these things here, these magnets. I got to show you. I got my little clipboard here. So that's just these. It's called magnet fishing. And gosh darn it, if I can't pry the magnet doesn't want to pry off of there. But I got some of that, and I'm like, some of these areas, especially like historical areas that I love, I want to try to do some of the magnet fishing in some of these areas. They may or may not be creepy, although around me, I may end up finding a crime scene. I may end up pulling out a murder weapon or something like that, knowing the area I'm in. So, but I wanted to get into some of these areas and do that, because then I can talk about some of the history of the areas that I'd love to do, again, without worrying about, like I said, I have stalkers trying to follow me. And gosh, you're going to hear on some of the future videos there. I have some paranoia there when I'm around this area, because I'm trying to vary my routine up and trying to hit some different spots, because I'm trying to just throw these guys off my trail. So, but there's definitely a little bit of paranoia there with that, because I do not like to be followed. I don't want to be bothered. I like to go out in the woods to get away from people. So, right. Yeah. Yeah. Jack, I need you on some of these. And Jackrabbit's he's got one of those, was it parabolic hearing things he made. This guy's an genius of a guy. And he's got some stuff that he's made that's great for going out in the woods to find things. So I just gotta have the free time. And I will tell you this: going out into the woods in the wintertime, man, you gotta have the gear for it. And I will say, pretty much anywhere I go, pretty much all season round, if you don't have the right kind of boots for it, you're not going to hike very far. Any of the places I go, everywhere's muddy. There'll be a drought, and these places are muddy. But I want to get out and check some of these areas, especially some of the more historical areas, and see what I can find, see if I find anything, or maybe I just pull trash out of the rivers. But it sounded interesting to me. So I went, you know what, let me try that. I'm still going to be doing all the night hiking, and that's not going to change. But I thought, this might be interesting. Like I said, I might throw this in here and into some place around here and pull up a safe full of money. Hey, it could happen, It's possible, although the chances may be low. They're not zero. So, and again, I say, I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure the stalkers usually watch my videos too. So they see where I'm going. So that's when a lot of it is where I, went to Helltown there. I kind of like mockingly, I'm going to say where I'm at. Like, why don't you guys join me here, bring it. Why don't you come out here? If you want, you want to follow me there, you're going to have to pack a lunch. That's what I'm trying to do with that. But I know a lot of these areas that these guys who are claiming they want to take. Why are they stalking me? Their words, not mine. They said they're going to take my areas and they're going to video them and not let me video them, is what their words, what they put out to me. So I went, okay. And yeah, so I try to keep a lot of it secret. But there's 3 of them, and I think they take shifts of trying to find where I'm at. So, yeah. So you'd think they were teenagers. Sadly, sadly they're not. They're full-grown men. So, that's just it. They're a lot healthier than me. So, just had the consult on the right shoulder, because I had to go see the specialist on that. They're sending me for imaging, because after he checked me over and evaluated, he instantly started talking about when you have to have surgery. And I went, I'm not going to have surgery. And he's like, yeah, you might want to prepare yourself. So, and that starts to factor into some of my hikes there, because I'm right-handed. So, and it's the right shoulder that's done. Fortunately, I'm very good at using my left hand, and that's my father. My father was a Golden Glove boxer, and he's a left-handed, and he learned how to do everything right-handed. He was undefeated. He was Golden Glove boxer out of Detroit, Michigan, undefeated, and it was because if the boxer was left-handed, he could fight right-handed. Hello, Lori. Thanks for joining me. If the boxer was right-handed, he could work with his right. And so he always trained me. He said, you need to learn how to use both hands. because you never know when it's going to be insufficient to use your dominant hand. And he always taught of it in the aspect of fighting. But yeah, it's just for anything in life. When if you're right-handed, you naturally put your footing and everything towards working with that right hand. When you work with your left hand, you have to change your footing around to do that, and that takes training. It takes practice to do that. So it's something I've constantly practiced at is using the left hand, so I can do everything. But the one thing, and I've tried practicing this handwriting with my left hand is just not working. But I can I can throw a football left-handed, not as far, but I can still throw it. I can do everything left-handed. So if my right arm is down, the bad part about our hikes is I need two hands, because you got one hand holding the camera, the other hand holding the flashlight. And I always say I kind of wish, if anyone knows the Spider-Man villain, Doc Octopus there, he's got this pack on there that has these extra arms. And I wish I had a pack that had extra arms on it. So Jack says that all the time too. We need about 4 hands to be able to do these hikes the right way. That's one of the things I love having John with me. John's not interested in videoing for himself, so he just loves to come out for the adventure. And so he's got a flashlight in the hand, and he's got a free hand, and that free hand always comes in handy when he's out with me for my stuff. So, okay. So the audio, I guess I will put that out there. I'll just put it out like the next day. I don't want to inundate and putting everything out on one day. So put the main video out tomorrow. Saturday we'll do the audio, and Sunday we'll do the thermal video. We'll do that for the scheduling of that. And again, I understand if you guys are like, man, I don't have time to watch it. I get it. I'm appreciative if one person watches my video. That's humbling. Somebody took the time to watch my video. And again, I'm doing it in an investigative. If you're interested in the investigation part of my videos, those are the people who are going to want to watch this, because then you're going to get to hear. I try to put out all the evidence. I don't know if you've ever tried to listen to or had to go through a jury trial. There is a whole lot of I will try to go through it and put some marks for the sounds on there, and I'll put some kind of in general length ones, because there's something that's wandering around in there almost the entire time that I'm gone. But there's parts where I have the volume like majorly jacked up on this, and there's cars that drive by, there's a dog barking, and it's, when the cars drive by, it's loud as heck. You're like, if you're trying to listen close, car drives by, you're like, holy cow. Because that's how I listened to this. I had the earplugs in and the car drives by, about blows your eardrums out. So if you do, I do understand that. Yeah, rock on and get rocks thrown at me, Jimmy. So I'll do that again. It won't be that's why, Nancy, right, fair warning. But especially because I'm not the paranormal person, okay, and it's just not my thing. That's why we have that's why, like, our little group, we all have our specialty. And it's great when we're out there all together. It's just the problem is there's too much life happening and keeping us from all being out in the woods together. So we have to try to learn, each other's strong points, to try to, trying to cover track, when Trapper's not there, trying to learn how to decipher these tracks, and MT's not there. how to deal with what do we do when we get these weird voices or all this other these unexplained sounds. Well, that would be because normally we had we got the perfect setup with the group of us. It's just, like I said, too much life happens that keeps us from all being together. So that's something too. I'm looking forward to hopefully us having that whole team out to do something, because we get all of us out in an area, and I think if you have the whole group of us, all 5 of us, I think I don't think anything stands a chance of hiding from us. So but even just with me and Jack doing some of our videos have meshed really well, covering what just the investigation, their part of it, covering what each other's doing and covering the whole area. There's times where I'm videoing where Jack isn't. There's times where Jack's videoing and I'm not. And it complements those. Like, I watch Jack's and I'm like, wow, my video on Helltown perfectly complements him. Same thing with this other Claim 2, where we had all where we're having all the police reports. My video complements his very well. So, and that just means we have good teamwork at it. And this again, this Helltown there, I think we right off the bat ran into something. Jack had caught the eye shine, something red eye shine, and I tried to put my camera on it. I'm not sure if it got it or not, but yeah, there was something there. And then sure enough, man, we're trying to leave and we're getting rocks thrown at us. It was everything. It was, coyotes, all kinds of creepy stuff going on there, which that's what I put out in my, my mission statement, the things I'm looking for. When we get coyotes, that's one of the things I'm looking for. So, yeah, cross training, Nancy, that's a good way of putting that. So you see, as like I've been studying as much as I can, not only on animal sounds, but on their tracks. So I got to talk to the game warden for Ashtabula County. I played the video of, like I said, what I can only describe as baboons or whatever that we caught at Claim 2. Me, Jack, and MT caught there. And it's a lady. She listened to that. And she goes, "That sent chills down my spine." I said, "Have you ever heard anything like that before?" She says, "No, never. I have no clue what." She goes, "Where is that?" And I'm like, I said, "That's over in Portage County." So it's like, yeah, she's like, that's not, and she's like, "I have no clue what that is." And I played one of the other screams that I got there, and she says, she's like, "I have no," she's like, "That is weird. I don't know what that is." So when I get a game warden, it's, they're supposed to be professionals at what's in the woods in Ohio, and they have no clue. They're baffled. Well, it means we got some pretty good evidence there. And trying to think. So I want to, as we get some nicer weather here, and before they tear that dam out of there, I want to try and get some of the magnet fishing in. And yeah, Claim 2, the only other place I can think of that matches Claim 2 is around me, Tinker's Hollow. Tinker's Hollow is nuts like Claim 2 is. And I don't know, well, Claim 2's had everything on it. Claim 3, which I still haven't got to go to, I want to. Claim 3 is like off the charts, nuts. But I'm telling you what, Tinker's Hollow is right on par with them. John had to go because he has to get up for work. He's the guy who makes the energy, the power go into our lights there. So Cuyahoga is an evil jungle. Sue, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. So and I've been begging Jack for claim 3, and he just went out there again. And I was messaging him like, dude, you're going to claim 3. I want, let me. Man, he didn't get back to me. So, and he says mostly it's because the property owner's a little funny, and Tinker's Hollow is the other place though around here. Like that is off the rails, and so. And right, Lori, that's what I'm thinking with this some of the areas I'm in. When I first started doing a lot of the videos, I was like doing almost like I was doing Conneaut Creek reports. Well, I know I did like 2 different reports of the bodies floating down the creek. So that was like early on in my channel, but like, yeah, it was like, well, another body went floating down the creek today, and so and I got stories of growing up as a kid. There was a place where everyone would go swimming. They would jump off the railroad arches and into the swimming hole there, and one of the times one of my friends jumped in, and underneath the water, stuck on a branch, was a dead body, and he landed on it and knocked it up. Scared the heck out of him. And it was a guy who had drowned, and they never did say why, like how the heck he got in the water. They never did hear that. No, Nancy, I wish gold was magnetic. I do have a friend that I've made on that lives not far from me here in my county, that does gold panning, and he does a YouTube channel on that. I got him. If you look on my channel, the featured channels, Jeremy Cantor, he's one of them. He's finding all kinds of gold all over Northeast Ohio, and how much of a genius he looks like right now. His gold is $2,900 an ounce. No, silver isn't either. Sadly, if you find a U.S. coin that is magnetic, that'll get you rich, because that means it's an error coin. There's only a few out that are magnetic. They're errors. And you can make yourself $1 million if you find a magnetic coin. So, but what a lot of people do is they toss these things into tins, into safes, into other things. It's amazing what ends up into the waters. And some of the Lake Erie shore, we have, from Conneaut here, where I live, we have a whole ship that has went missing. The Marquette and Bessemer #2. It's went missing, has never been found. And it was like 1906. It had a safe on it that had like $22,000 of 1906's money. And kind of a sad fact of where we are as a country today, how much that money is worth in our money today is obnoxious. Our currency has just been devalued a whole lot. It's another thing to get into, but and I don't know if anybody's seen this. They're doing away with the penny. So like Canada has already done away with it. They announced, because it costs 3 cents to make 1 penny. All right, thank you, Steve. It cost 3 cents to make 1 penny. So it cost our country last year, to us, the taxpayers, it was something like $85 billion to make all the pennies that we wanted to make for circulation. So, right, hang on to your pennies, start collecting them, because that's not chump change, what we ended up wasting making those. And it's like, so now, we can look at, a lot of our money not being wasted on something like that. And I know it's not a bad thing that they're doing that, but I wish they would just work on getting our currency back valued where it was, and then that way that penny would be worth a lot more. So yeah, get a box from the bank of the 2025s. Steel pennies, I have those too. That's Nancy, that's one of the coins I believe that is magnetic, is the steel penny. During World War II, they needed the materials for the war effort, so they made some of the pennies out of steel. This is something you guys may not know about me. I'm an avid coin collector. I love that. Absolutely love that. So I don't know if that's, like I said, I see people have coin collector channels on YouTube. I just don't know if, again, I'm an action guy though. I like to be out doing something, and sitting here showing you coins. Just, I guess I'd probably I'd be the one to fall asleep on that, even though it's something that interests me. That's the way I am. I like to be moving constantly. I hear that, and so that you guys know this too. You say, why don't you stand still more? It's just not how I'm made. So when you guys see me, you're like, well, he's moving around, he's not standing still. Yeah, because that's how I am. So I'm not the standstill person. So this property, Owen Hill, is another thing too. The owner said, go out there when you want. I got tree stands. You can go up and sit in a tree stand. He said, you can sit up there all night if you want. And I'm thinking, yeah, that sounds cool in theory, with the exception that I can't sit still for 10 minutes. So I maybe could do 10 minutes, but then I'm going to be like, I got to move around. I got to do something here. So those are the things that are coming up here. Video that's out tomorrow. Ask for your guys' help with this one here. Just definitely keep a close eye, especially in the house when we go up. When we go up in the hill, it was icy, and I think I probably said this, but my foot crunching in the ground, I had to do that because I was going to fall, because it was so icy. My foot, it's like, so my foot crunching in meant I wasn't going to fall. But it was annoying. It was annoying to me and John, the noise that it was making. We were like, holy crap, this is just wrecking everything. We can't hear anything. But we do get up to a spot on the top of this hill, beautiful overlook. I just was like, wow, I could come up here and sit on this spot and just look down into the rest of you can look out and see the rest of the county from there. I was pointing it out. I could see into Pennsylvania, and yeah, it was neat. So it's like I've been debating on that, of whether I want to go out there and sit in the. And again, that's what I need trail cameras for. I need a camera to sit out there, because I can't sit still long enough. But I do have the other side of that property to still go and investigate. And the other side of that property is where my glow sticks got stolen on a hike, where I lined it because there's no paths. I lined my way with these glow sticks, and something followed me and took my glow sticks. And then I was lost. And when I realized I was lost, and I started getting rocks thrown at me. So that one was a very creepy night. I was very happy to get the heck out of there. So I know that's what there's some of these hikes where I'm literally going, thank God this is over. This is creepy. But I say that, but I absolutely love doing that. So this is what I enjoy doing. So okay, yeah. So for the YouTube videos there, if you're watching it on your cell phone, well, if you're on your computer, you can slow it down. You can go in there and you can slow the speed down. If you're on your phone, you can zoom in. You can zoom in better than what I can zoom in with my camera, which is a really good feature and helps you guys even have an advantage of overseeing stuff in there that I miss trying to do that, because you guys can zoom in on it so much better. It's a good feature about YouTube. A lot of other crap about YouTube I'm not happy with right now. Okay, one of the things real quick we'll go over here. YouTube, for some reason, is removing comments. I almost want to say at random. I don't know. I don't have a rhyme or reason for it, but I have gotten several people who, regular commenters, get very mad at me saying, "Why did you remove my comment?" And I'm going, "I don't know what you're talking about." And go in there and yeah, they have. I'm looking on there. I'm like, "I have no comment from you," and they're like, "Yeah, why did you remove it?" I'm like, "I didn't. YouTube did." And YouTube has removed a lot of my comments, and like nothing vulgar, just conversation about the video. And I don't know what they're doing. Like what I was saying, they would not let me put in the comments. The one time they would not let me put the word molasses. Every time I put molasses in the comment, deleted my comment instantly. And I didn't know. It doesn't tell. That's the other thing is it doesn't tell me. It's supposed to tell me if it holds or takes out any comments. They're removing comments and not telling me, which I did complain about. I did put in a complaint on that. And that was several days ago. They still haven't answered me. So I'm kind of figuring it's the middle finger to me on that of screw you, we're going to censor you and you're going to like it. So, which again, if this continues, if my viewers can't put comments on there, if I can't comment back and communicate, well, then we don't have an interactive channel, which is what I'm supposed to be doing. In which case, I'm going to take every single video of mine off of YouTube. I'm going to load them up to Rumble. Rumble's free speech. Okay. And I'll have to do it over there because, hey, I said, American experience here. I'm about freedom. I'm about freedom of speech, freedom to own firearms, all that. So if I cannot, if this platform wants to try to tell me you're not allowed to have your freedom of speech, which I'm not saying anything vulgar or threatening to anyone, you know, it's funny. They've removed some of our, mine and your guys' comments that are nothing vulgar, nothing rude, nothing incident. Yet people have cussed me up one side and down the other. And YouTube will let that comment stay on there. And then I have to remove them. So I don't have their rhyme or rhythm. I don't have it figured out. I don't know, like, why would you let a guy cuss me out, but you're going to remove a guy talking about molasses? So that's my gripe right now with them. And all right, we're just at a little over an hour. So I know, hey, guys, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. So I want you guys to enjoy that. You know, the video will be out if you're staying home. Or if you're going out, just remember everybody else takes their date out on Valentine's Day too. It's going to be nuts. Which is why I'm not going to, because my two jobs, I had to be around a ton of people, Air Force and then the prison especially has made me to where when I don't like to be out in a crowd of people anymore. So, prison's definitely ruined that experience for me. So, but just remember, it's going to be filled, as what I say is, it's going to be filled with the people of Walmart will be out tomorrow, everywhere. They'll have their cars with no mufflers on them, and they will be cruising around with their bumpers duct taped, heading out, because they got money. They got money to go to a restaurant. So, yeah, so... Oh yes, and you're gonna hear the comments in some of my future videos of me discussing people of Walmart. I can't get away from them, man. I go in the woods to get away from them, and they follow me there. So, all right. So I'm gonna say, be careful. Just watch out. People of Walmart will be out wandering the lands. I'm gonna say this because I'm Gen X. I got to do our some of their little Gen X thoughts. back when we were kids and stuff, before Walmart got real popular, we used to only have to see these people at the county fairs or well, Jackrabbit, you can attest to this around here. Jackrabbit's me and Jackrabbit we graduated high school together. We used to see these type of people at the county fair, or they would have these carnivals, you know, like 4th of July or October. And that would be the only time you had to see those types of people. It was the only time they came out. Now they have a place where they can all congregate every single day, and they're growing in numbers, and that's Walmart. So now that's why I call them the people of Walmart. So, all right. So watch out for the crazies tomorrow, but try to enjoy the time with, you know, if you have someone that's a significant other or whatever, if you have kids, make them feel special on this day. If you have a mother that's still around, make sure that she feels special too. Okay. So I say that, be kind to people. I say that about, you know, the people at Walmart and stuff like that. But, you know, when I'm around them, I'm not trying to not be disrespectful to anybody unless they want to, you know. But you'll see coming up here, I got a video where I say, I kept running into the people. The only words I can come up with is the people of Walmart. So, yes, hey, Patty. Patty lives right on the edge of this huge wooded area in Pennsylvania that I need to get in there and look around some, because it's just like kind of like epic creepiness. It's a place called Jumbo Woods. It's just onto the Pennsylvania side of the border. It's still only like 15-20 minutes from me. I am going to be coming up here in the near future, and towards the end of this month, I am going to be hitting some areas in Pennsylvania. You know, I live in Conneaut here. I think it's from my house is maybe 2 miles to the state line. So I'm in that little sharp corner where Lake Erie and the Pennsylvania border meet. So, all right. So, be looking out for the video tomorrow, and drop your comments in there. Let me know what you think. Help spread this around. I'm really trying to grow this channel. I'm honored that you guys are on here, and I greatly appreciate you. I would like to be able to try to get this out to more people. And that happens by word of mouth. You know, best advertisement you can get is word of mouth. You know, you can hear a commercial say something and you're like, yeah, what does that mean? But when you say someone like, oh yeah, I tried this product and it was really good. So, all right, hit that like button. Let me be like cameraman. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. He does good stuff. So, or what was it? Squatchable News described me as the man, the myth, the legend. So, which I thought that was flattering. But all right, guys, take care. Have a good evening. Thank you for joining. I'm humbled that you guys stuck around. You joined me for this. Thank you all for it. Good night, Nancy, Jackrabbit, Patty, Lori, Sue. God bless you guys all. And I'm going to try to get more shout outs in to my videos here in the future. So especially if you're like, hey, yeah, shout me out, man, toss that in the comments. Shout me out. And then I will get you into the next video when I get there. Okay. All right. So this is T-Mac for T-Mac's American Experience saying happy Valentine's Day and God bless you. All right. Thank you, Sue. All right. Let me see. How do I get this? Whoop. I think I switched that the wrong way. So, I got to end this. There we go. All right. Sometimes the technology kicks me in the